Welcome to Nerds Chatting, movie, TV, comic chat. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, we probably should say that everything that I may go into may be a spoiler, but I'll try not to spoil it.
Hang on a second. Edit this in at the beginning.
I'll edit this in at the beginning.
Spoilers for all the comic books we're about to talk about.
All the comic books.
All the comics.
Ever in the world.
Spoilers.
It's all spoilers.
Welcome everybody to this Nerds Chatting video where we will be nerds chatting about comic books for the month of September. My name is Nate and this is Ben.
Hello, everyone. Sorry we haven't been around for a while. We've
Well, after the rebrand, we had a bit of
we were a bit busy.
hiatus. Is that the right word?
What would you say?
Hiatus.
Hiatus.
Hiatus
Yeah,
in terms
definitely
of
the thing.
YouTube. But we're back. This is going to be the first of many, we hope, of comic book nerds chatting.
Nerds chatting about comic books.
So specifically, we're going to be talking about what the comics we've been reading through the month of.
Been reading a lot of comics in September.
Yeah. But not necessarily new comics in September, just the ones we've been reading. Ben, do you want to kick off? Have you got a massive pile right there?
Thank you. Yes, I do. I'm going to kick off with Superman. As anyone listening to the podcast would have heard, I did not like the first 6 issues of the Superman Rebirth run. I just didn't like it.
That's okay for you to be wrong.
I liked the story to start with, but the artwork was just not to my liking. It really wasn't. And I just hated it.
Counterpoint, I really loved it.
Which is fine. And it's fine that we both think that we're both wrong, okay?
Yeah.
So, I was about ready to cancel. I wasn't going to go any further with this. And then Jim from Final Frontier, you know you are, kept it in my pull list. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just flick through it. But if the artwork is the same, then I'm not gonna buy it. And I'm flicking through. And the artwork for me is so vastly improved. And just look how beautiful that is. And it's still got all your shadowy stuff that you like.
Yeah, I know.
And it's, I'll hold that a bit closer. The artwork is just, it's more realistic artwork. It's less lines and big blocky things.
Using shadows as opposed to
and
using lines rather than
the
shadows.
story is like self-contained and it's fun and it's them getting involved in the community that they live in now. They're living in Hamilton, which is just outside of Metropolis, I think.
Yeah.
And Soups helps the members of the Justice League, and I really love that Batman's like, I don't recall asking for help. And when it comes to me, you're going to have to ask if I need help. I love that. That's great.
It's a really interesting status quo they're setting up for Superman because they're allowing it to be different to what you would traditionally think of. They're making a statement that this isn't the Superman of the New 52. I mean, they've said it a lot of times, and in Action Comics recently, there was an issue where Clark Kent is in it. Now that's still a mystery to be unfolded, but in that he writes an article about, and he says in the article, this is not the Superman we know, but this might be a better Superman. And it's like they're making a statement about it.
Yeah, I loved this comic. It's given me hope that I may actually look at that. It's a Superman comic that's given me hope.
No, on that point, this is why the New 52 was a failure for me, and why the Rebirth so far has been a success, because New 52 Superman had no hope in his storylines, no hope in his characterization.
Yeah.
And this new Superman has come along. I say he's new. He's actually the pre-52, the post-Infinite Crisis Superman. And
so many pre-post things.
But he's that man, he's that guy, and he's brought hope in 7 issues.
And it's just, in my opinion, vastly superior to what came in the first 6 issues. And hey, if you don't agree with me, comment below and tell me why I'm wrong. And that's fine for us to have differing opinions. This is all just a point of view. It's all subjective.
Hashtag Nate is right.
Hashtag whatever.
Wonder Woman, the Rebirth of Wonder Woman. So we're at issue 7 at the minute, and I cannot say enough good things about this comic. It's beautifully drawn, it's beautifully written.
Greg Rucka.
There are 2 parallel storylines going on. One week you'll get year 1, the next week you'll get current continuity. There are links between the 2.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised by this. When Rebirth came out, I gave it a go thinking, right, it's one of the big titles, I should give it a go. But it is genuinely such a great comic book.
This is the first time I've ever read a Wonder Woman comic book, and I'm really enjoying it.
But there's just something about this which captures the essence of what they wanted to do with Rebirth. And as far as I understood it, and as all the articles I've read and videos I've seen about Rebirth, they wanted to bring the legacy back. They wanted to bring back the heart of the storyline.
Telling you what's come before.
Yeah.
And it's also dealing with, well, something's not right here. She's all about the lies, isn't she? I'm being lied to. I need the truth.
Yeah.
But I've been told lies.
Yeah.
Give me the goddamn truth.
And
Love it.
the year one in particular storyline for her is, I don't want to overegg the pudding, but it's quite magical. It feels really, it's got this heart to it. The relationship between her and Steve, you know, they don't speak each other's language.
In year one.
Yeah, in year one. And there's a real genuineness, that's not the right word, but do you know what I mean? There's a
Yeah,
real honesty about it.
Yeah, it feels for a superhero and an American soldier who's, you know, just appeared washed up on an island full of Amazonian women, it kind of feels like it's a bit real.
Yes.
There you
yes,
go. That's what I'd give.
absolutely, yeah.
I'd say it's real. It feels real. She's absolutely badass and is so cool about being badass.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like.
There's the second side of the storyline set in the current day. There's a lot of mystery going on there. There's a lot of unknowns. As a newcomer like yourself to Wonder Woman, there's a lot of things in there I'm like, oh, not sure I get this. But I don't think there's anything wrong with forcing me to go to Wikipedia and look it up. Wonder Woman, Greg Rucka at the minute, fantastic book. If you haven't read it yet, hashtag you're an idiot. Get out there and read it because it's really, really great.
Well, was that issue 6?
This
or
is
issue
6.
7 came out recently.
7 just came out last week.
So the first trade will be out soon. So if you've missed the first 6 issues, that's absolutely fine.
Yep.
The trade will be out soon. You can pick it up if you want to get trades and whatever. But if you want to go and get them, you can get them on Comixology, of course, or go into your friendly neighbourhood comic book shop.
Maybe try Final Frontier in Plymouth, St Austell or Exeter.
Maybe do that. Vision. Now, I've talked about this an awful lot, and I've probably talked about this in our comic book review videos, comic book chat, nerds chatting about comic book, whatever. This is issue 11, and it is breathtakingly good. I'm not going to go into it too much. Basically, stuff has happened with the Vision and his family that he has created.
Yes.
Some heartbreaking things have happened. There have been some losses that cannot be resolved.
Right.
And the Vision has very analytically decided he will not stand for this.
Right, okay.
And it's the Avengers and the Vision come to blows in this issue. Let's just leave it like that.
Okay.
And what I was saying to you is that the ending was unexpected for me and brilliant. Honestly, it's such a great book. It's written by Tom King, who's currently doing Batman for DC. He's also doing for Vertigo. He's doing Sheriff of Babylon, which is still going, and it's brilliant. And the artist Gabriel Hernandez Walter, who I've said that name several times, it's just great. It's minimalist and it's not too detailed, but at the same time it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Here we go. We have the Vision's wife having a little bit of a meltdown moment here.
It tells a lot of its story in the artwork rather than in the text.
Yes and no.
The writer allows the artist to convey some of the storyline.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really important for me because otherwise you're reading a novel, and that's fine to read a novel.
Yes,
but this is the comic book medium.
What they've actually done in this is very clever. What they've done is they've included some of the text from the first time you ever saw the Vision from the comic book when he first came into it. Which I'm just going to flip to right now. Back in 19 whatever it was, like almost 50 years ago, basically. Yeah. So it's from Avengers Volume 1, number 57 and 58. The first time Ultron created the Vision and welcomed him into the world. Yes. A lot of the text used from that comic is included in little bubbles in here.
But that has value.
Juxtaposed against what's actually happening in the now. And it's just very, very clever. If you're after a really good Marvel comic and you don't want to go near Civil War 2, but you want to read something that's really good,
Vision.
There you go. I don't want to go into this one too much. Suicide Squad Rebirth. So this is really great. This is issue 2. Again, massive spoilers for this, and I'm probably going to spoil this for you.
Okay.
This comic book is split into 2.
Right.
So the first half of it is them dealing with some stuff, and Boomerang dies. And the second half of it is them. It's like Boomerang being introduced and welcomed into the Suicide Squad, or being sort of recruited for the Suicide Squad. And his story is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. He lies through his teeth all the time because that's the kind of character he is.
Like a missing son or something. Or...
he's like playing along that he's like a super spy and all this kind of thing. He works for the Australian secret agency and all this kind of thing. But then again, juxtaposed from what he's saying to what you're actually looking at, it's just like, oh God. If he'd just been given a chance, maybe he would have been a nice guy.
Is he? Spoilers, but is he actually killed?
Well, who's actually ever killed in the comic book?
Oh no, I just meant that in some of the other comics, some people have been killed, but are being collected by Mr. Oz.
So he may have just been removed and his boots were just left. or he may be dead. I'm leaning towards dead.
No, I don't reckon.
But at the same time, probably not.
No.
It's written by people and drawn by other people, and it's great. And it's good fun.
Probably flash up on the screen.
And do you know what?
Here.
Yeah, it probably will. If you've seen the film and you quite enjoyed the film, go and pick up the comic book, because the comic book is just the film. The Walking Dead. Everyone knows I'm a Walking Dead fan. Okay. This is the second part of the Whisperer War.
Oh, yeah.
And the Whisperers I've talked about and said that how really, really scary they are. Man, these guys are terrifying. They don't make any noise.
I know, they're whispers.
They whisper. Basically, as you can see, the Whisperer War, there's like a huge event happening. It's one of the events. It's almost like the All Out War storyline that happened a couple of years ago was 12 issues over maybe 8 months, I think, maybe 9 months, something like that. What they've done with this is I don't think they could do that, like lots of panels per page, like 16 panels per page.
That's pretty heavy going.
But it works perfectly.
Okay.
Because a lot of it, even though there is a lot of talking sometimes, when there's a lot of action going on, you get it beat for beat for beat, and it's brilliant. Yeah, these guys are terrible. They use the undead, and they wear the skin of the dead, and they walk amongst them, and they use the undead as like a distraction. You're busy killing the undead, and they slip in, stab you, and you're gone. And then you join their army.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And do you know what? It's just such an amazing idea. Some stuff has happened that has kicked this Whisperer War off that you would not believe.
But Kirkman is such a clever writer. I mean, we've talked at length.
He's a twisted genius.
Yeah, I talked at length on these videos, but also on the podcast about his work on Invincible and the way that he takes a genre and twists it, puts his own spin on it, but also then makes everything about the emotional side of things. It's more interesting than anything else that's going on, and he does that so well. Yeah,
everyone should read The Walking Dead. If you watch the TV show and you love it, for the love of God, read the comic book.
Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps.
It's a great comic book.
It's a great comic book. I mean, I'm a long-term fan of Green Lantern anyway. Ethan Van Sciver back on the artwork. The story is starting to focus on Sinestro and the Sinestro Corps, and it just plays straight into all my loves and likes. And yeah,
I didn't bring this because I knew that you would.
Yeah, and you've got characters coming back. It's probably not new reader friendly because it uses a lot of content and knowledge. Requires knowledge from Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern, although...
Bingo, by the way, anyone who wants to know when Nate was going to mention Jeff Johns, it's at this point in the video.
But you haven't read that run, and yet you're still enjoying this.
So I've read a little bit of it to start with, but not the whole thing.
10 years of it. But.
However, no, I still think this is great. No, I understand that Sinestro's daughter was once a Green Lantern.
Saranic Natu.
Yes, it's pretty alien sounding name.
It is a pretty alien sounding name, yeah. She has a very cool tattoo just under her eye there.
Yeah. She's performed some kind of,
she's a surgeon.
Alien
surgery on
Hal. And she's kicking ass and taking names. And she wanted to make the Yellow Lantern Corps a source for good.
Yes,
because she thought her dad was dying.
Yeah, the premise of this, this is issue 5, but going back, the Green Lantern Corps have disappeared. Now, actually, I don't know why they disappeared, because I wasn't reading Green Lantern Corps, I was only reading Green Lantern. So I don't actually know why they disappeared. Again, I'm sort of new reader to this.
Yeah.
But I understand what's happened, they've explained enough for me. The Green Lantern Corps disappeared, and the Sinestro Corps have not taken over the universe, but they've taken over the role of a police force.
They're policing the universe with fear.
Through fear. And when Saranic is leading them, Sinestro's daughter, she's doing it for good. And she is saying that some of those people are doing it for good. Because if you think about it, Batman was welcomed into the Sinestro Corps. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He uses fear for good.
He does use fear for good.
So that it can happen. So they're not all evil.
Holy crap.
Sinestro, probably my favourite comic book character ever, was the greatest Green Lantern.
That's a bold statement you've just made.
Yeah.
Wearing a Superman t-shirt with your hair in the Superman style. That's a bold statement you've just made.
He was a great character.
Okay.
He was the greatest Green Lantern ever before Hal Jordan came along. He uses fear. So it's all tying into stuff that I really, really love, and it's really good. And the artwork's great. Ethan Van Sciver is fantastic. He is the gold standard for Green Lantern. Look at that.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Stunning. It's just stunning.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Can I give a special mention for this at the start of the comic for Guy Gardner, by the way, who's been captured by the Sinestro Corps.
Yep.
And he's being tortured awfully.
Yeah.
And he's just such a badass.
Yeah.
/ meathead that he just takes it and just does the Green Lantern mantra. Brightest day and blackest night.
No evil shall escape my sight.
Yes.
Except those who worship evil's might, beware my power.
And then he gets
Tortured some more, yeah. He's a really interesting character. And if you are only reading the Green Lantern's title, which is also great, that's really working out well.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's great.
So I think everything they're doing with the Green Lanterns at the minute, Green Lanterns and Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern's Corps, is really working well. Don't know if it's going to really tie into massive rebirth stuff later on in terms of Watchmen, stuff like that. Doesn't seem that important.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but it's just really, really well written, and I'm enjoying every page.
Now, my third one is...
It's not third.
Well, no, it's not my third one at all, is it? It's my fifth one.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my fifth one. So I wanted to talk about Civil War 2, issue 5, because some of the guys in our podcast community, people like the We Have a Hulk guys said, is anyone else a bit disappointed in this? And I was like, no, but I'm not disappointed in it because I've read all the tie-ins and I know what's going on. Not that I know what's going on, they don't. I have had a little bit more story and plot given to me that they may not have caught up on.
I love that you've done that.
Yeah.
But as a casual reader, as I am for Civil War 2, I shouldn't have to.
No, and that is absolutely true. You are absolutely right. And it's probably something that I think at the same time has happened due to the fact that the run that was originally going to be 7 issues has been extended to 8. I think...
And extended into next year?
The last issue is going to come out on December the 28th.
Oh, there you go.
Issue 8 will be out on December the 28th.
Was it supposed to be finished by now?
It was supposed to be finished, I think, originally at the start in September, and then it moved along. I think Marquez, the artist, I think he's recently become a father.
Right.
So it may have pushed the scheduling back a little bit. Anyway, so I think that this issue has suffered from the extension, so it's become a little bit filler.
Okay.
At the same time, if anyone who's read this will know the last page, the spoiler. So spoilers, if you haven't read it, skip on. But if you have read it, you know that the last page is Miles Morales Spider-Man killing Steve Rogers. Now, anyone who's read Steve Rogers Captain America from issue whatever will know that now he's maybe
evil.
Well,
Hail Hydra.
He's an agent of Hydra, or he thinks he is, because Kobik, the living cosmic cube, has rewritten his history and made him believe that he is. But he's not. But he thinks he is. But he's not.
And so, you have a go at me for saying pre-New 52 post-Infinite Crisis.
Look, just let me have this small win, all right? So no one knows this apart from Cap. Obviously knows it of himself, or thinks he knows it of himself. And everyone's like, why the hell's Miles Morales killed Captain America? Killed Steve Rogers, Captain America. Spider-Man number 8 came out before Civil War 2 number 5. And in this, what you see, and in the ones before this as well, is that when they had the vision of when Ulysses had the vision of the Hulk killing everyone, it really affected Miles Morales. Like, he was daydreaming or falling asleep in class and dreaming about the Hulk murdering everyone he knew that he was friends with, him, and he was like waking up screaming, and he jumps up into the ceiling and sticks to it for a bit, and it's like he's got PTSD from something he experienced, because everyone experiences Ulysses' vision if they're with him. Yes. Anyway, his grandma's become suspicious of him and has hired Jessica Jones to find out what's going on with him. Right. Jessica Jones shows up in this issue with Luke Cage and says, professional courtesy, your nan's looking into you. You need to be better at being a superhero or covering up your secret, because at the moment you suck. And I found you in like 2 hours, basically. So it's like...
But it is Jessica Jones, though.
It is Jessica Jones. She's pretty badass. She is badass. This very Deadpool thing. So he's like, when it's explained to him, he's like, what? And then he's like saying nothing for 2 panels.
Yeah,
it's just his
the
face
eyes are like fully
completely
wide.
shocked.
Yeah.
And it's just like he is traumatized by a vision of something that might happen. His parents and grandparents sort of snooping around. Obviously his dad knows his secret, but his mum doesn't. His mum went to Jessica Jones to convince her to stop the investigation for his nan and all this kind of thing. And it's so good. This issue ends with, because it jumps around in the timeline a little bit, the tie-ins. This issue ends with Bruce Banner being killed. Again, spoilers, but if you haven't read it, you know. Yeah, Bruce Banner being killed, so that affected him.
Or Civil War 3, in fact, I think.
Civil War 3, yeah. Then you get this, which, so I enjoyed that because I knew what had come before. Yeah. Then you get Steve Rogers, Captain America number 5, which ties into an awful lot. Like Cap has been in the background, maybe doing some hydroing through some of the events that have been discussed in the previous Civil War 2 runs. So like when they had their first meeting to introduce Ulysses, he was like, this is a bit of a problem. This was really good. This again explains that Cap is actually pulling the strings to screw with the Avengers a little bit and with everyone, with Ulysses. So that's brilliant. Yeah. And then you get this.
Thunderbolts.
Then you get Thunderbolts. You get Bucky. You get the Winter Soldier. Seeing this comes after Civil War 2 issue 5. Yeah. You get Bucky going, well, I'm not going to let Miles Morales kill my friend, Steve Rogers, Captain America. That's not going to happen. I'm going to take you out. And he tries to take him out. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not a murderer. They've let me go. It's all fine. But he's like, yeah, well, that's not good enough for me. I'm going to stop you. He's not going to kill him. He's going to stop him.
Right.
But then S.H.I.E.L.D. turns up and Ulysses has got involved and it's a whole big thing. So, that's why I liked Civil War 2.5 as much as I did because of the tie-ins. Now, like you say, and I completely agree, the tie-ins shouldn't make the main story more explainable.
Yes.
That's even a word. Yeah. At the same time, for this, it has helped me. And I did enjoy issue 5 an awful lot.
And I've said to you before about this, I have thoroughly enjoyed Civil War 2 up to now. Yeah. I have. But I wish it hadn't been called Civil War. I wish it had had its own title.
Protect the Future or something like that.
Exactly. And also, I wish some of the events not like the events leading up to it, but some of the big events hadn't happened before because I'm at event fatigue with Marvel and DC. It's across the board.
I said that after the first week of reading Civil War 2 and Rebirth.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, guys, give me a break. I am now, 3 months down the line?
Yeah. But, we all enjoy events. We wouldn't keep reading them. They wouldn't keep doing them if we didn't enjoy them. But at the same time, I could do with 12 months without one.
I could do a couple of years without one.
Yeah, just reading some good, solid comics, and then the event having real value because it changes up what's happened. Whereas at the minute we're getting one every 12 months, sometimes one every 6 months.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's crazy.
Did I ramble a lot in that? Did that make sense?
No, it did make sense. Yeah, because it was all crossing over.
It's all crossing over. It's literally, I could not sit down with all of what I've read and draw you a timeline. I feel like we're just rambling now. Go ahead.
My last one, Nerds Chatting about comics. We didn't just want to talk about things that have just come out. We want to talk about some stuff that we've read that we hadn't read before, but we read this month. So I'm going to talk about Mark Waid and Alex Ross's Kingdom Come. Now, this has been out a long time. Many of you will have read it. And if you haven't, I suggest you go out and read it. I'm going to start with the bad.
Well, add it to the list.
I'm going to start with the bad first because I want to end on a high note with it. And I have to put a caveat in. I'm sorry to keep saying that.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Alex Ross's artwork is some of the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen in my life. Every page is stunning, but I struggle. I struggle to read his artwork as sequential art.
Right.
It's more like a painting that goes on a wall. I find things like this, hopefully we can put something on the screen for you, difficult because it's a photograph rather than a sequential art, and I don't know if it flows as well for me. So that's the bad, is that the artwork's too pretty. That doesn't really work. But do you know what I mean? You can take.
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, so
exactly what you mean.
There's a comic book called Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud. It's basically an essay about creating comic books, written as a comic book. Very, very clever. And one part of it, he describes about the differences of style, in that something which looks identical to a face has as much meaning but different meaning to a circle, 2 dots and a line. We still recognise it as a face, but each one has different meanings and different levels of understanding. And go and read Understanding Comics if you can. My point I'm trying to get to...
Put a link in the description or something.
With all the rambling, the point I'm trying to get to is that my personal choice of comic book style is more towards the cartoony, more towards the abstract, more towards that
crap stuff that came in Rebirth issues 1 to 6 for Superman.
Less like Alex Ross. Again, having said that, Alex Ross's artwork is beautiful. The good to talk about is that it's written by Mark Waid and he doesn't do bad stuff. Simple as that. His books are all great. In fact, that's Mark Waid when we get to it in a second.
I've got something that's Mark Waid.
It's kind of a little bit like that as Superman. It's an older Superman and he's been in retirement and he comes back. He kind of comes back to sort out all the young superheroes. They're not being honourable and truthful. and then it becomes two Justice Leagues fighting against each other, Batman leading one and Superman leading the other one. It's not quite as simple as that, but they are opposing sides. Okay. But there's also Shazam in it as an interesting character. It's just a really interesting story because it's the future of these superheroes. They've evolved slightly, they've become different to what they are in their inception. It took a little time getting to it, but then when it ended, I was like, wow. Read it in one sitting if you have the chance.
I've heard many people talk about this many times, and I've always seen the artwork, and I've always thought, I should probably look at that at some point, and it's just it's always skipped me by. But I will look at it on your recommendation.
Hand it to you.
Captain America, Man Out of Time.
Mark Waid.
Again, Mark Waid, and this guy Molina. Alfred Molina?
No, that's an actor.
That's an actor, isn't it? It's someone else called something Molina. George Molina. Basically, this is Captain America origin story. Slightly different, and it's just so great because it starts in World War II and it tells you what happened, and it's a sort of different telling of what I've seen before with Cap. Wakes up and everything's very, very jarring, and it's written and drawn in a very jarring way because it's what Captain America is experiencing. He helps out with the Avengers, and he's a bit bored that he's helping them out because he's not in command. He's just like muscle for hire at that point, and then stuff happens and shenanigans, and he saves the Avengers, and he's leading the Avengers, and everyone's happy that and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. And again, it's Mark Waid, and like you said, he doesn't really write bad stuff.
He doesn't.
He writes stuff really well, and he puts maybe a spin on characters that you know everything about that makes it fresh and new, and it's just really good.
I think you hit the nail on the head. He understands character. He takes the character, and then it doesn't matter the situation. In fact, it's more interesting that the characters in it rather than the story that takes place.
Yeah. So something that happens in this is that he learns that Reed Richards has a time machine. So he's like, oh well, I'll just go back in time then. You could just send me back to where I'm from. You can do that now. You have that technology. Just do that. Then you see all the presidents on here that have been in office since he disappeared, and someone who is literally, it's Barack Obama, but you don't actually see his face. No. He's like, can't let you do it, Cap. I can't let you go back. I've been told by all the top science guys that anything you say, one thing you say, could change everything that we know. So it's like, I can't let you go back. So there's time travel in this, and there's action in this, and there's story, and it's heartbreaking, and it's brilliant, and it's very clever. And it's probably been out for 10 years or something like that, maybe even longer. But I've only just read it recently, and I really enjoyed it. So there you go. Man Out of Time. Captain America, Man Out of Time. It's great.
I loved it when I read it. Great.
That's all I've got. That was probably about 25 minutes, but whatever.
I'll cut it down. So a few things to shout outs to put out there. I wanted to do a shout out for some of our colleagues that we never talk about, who are good friends of ours. Jimmy Bingers, he's always saying hello and talking nerdy stuff to us, and we never shout him out, and he's been on the podcast before, so hey Jimmy. And also Steve, who sits behind him. We never talk about Steve, and he's great. He's always talking about nerdy stuff with us. So.
He's always sharing legal content with us, isn't he?
Hi Steve. And the last thing to talk about is our very good friend who used to do the theme tunes for in our previous guys, Paul Tudor, is doing a marathon.
He is doing a marathon.
And you can be a good person. You can be a good person. Give him some money, yeah?
Has he paid you to do this? Because I think you should give him his money back if he has.
No, our friend Paul is doing a marathon, and he's raising money for a mental health charity, Mind, I think it is.
Yes, it is, yeah.
I hope it is, because I've just said it.
It is, yeah.
So if you click on that, then you can give him some money. Even if you just give him 50p or £1, he will be most appreciative. He's going to be running the...
I think it's in Slovakia.
Slovakian marathon.
Yeah.
We are his friend. We do listen.
So
that was the shout out.
Yeah. People can contact us on social media.
Yes, please do. Yes.
So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's all #nerdschatting. It's all nerdschatting. That's us. You go onto there, just type in nerdschatting, all one word, you'll find us.
Or down below.
Or down below, right here.
If you've just heard me say write something down below, do actually do that. We really want to interact with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you to say #you're an idiot. That's all I want you to say.
Yeah, that would be quite fun to get.
Yeah.
It would also be great if you could subscribe to our channel, if you could share this video with all your nerdy friends or comic book liking friends, or people you just randomly meet in the street. That'd be great as well, because sometimes you meet nerdy people.
And if you've got an hour to spare every week, most people have in terms of travelling, why not listen to our podcast that we do?
Oh yeah, they should definitely do that as well. Yeah,
Nerds Chatting Podcast. You can find us on iTunes and all the social medias as Ben just talked about, but also on Podbean. So it's nerdschatting.podbean.com.
That feels slick and professional.
Unlike us.
Yes.
Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll be back probably next month with another recap of some of our favourite comic books. So, all that's left to say is I've been Nathan, you've been Ben.
Long live Invincible.
Bye.
Bye.